Welcome to Estimably, the estimation game by version 1. Estimably is the free estimation game we've made available to customers of version 1. Your teams can use Estimably right from within your version 1 system to estimate backlog in a fun, collaborative environment. Estimably works for teams whether they're co-located or distributed. Distributed teams will need a voice connection during the game to be able to discuss details and exchange perspectives. The game itself helps keep everyone involved, whether team members choose to access it with their phones, tablets, or their laptops. To run a game in Estimably, it requires one facilitator to play that central role and select stories and save the estimates ultimately for the team. Everybody else can be using their own device, but the facilitator has to log into version 1, which, as you can see here, I've done. I've brought up the team room where I have a panel that shows me the team's backlog over on the left side, as well as the Estimably panel over on the right. To start a new game, simply click on the button where the application connects to the Estimably server and returns a URL and a game ID that all of the participants, my teammates, are going to use to join the game. An easy thing to do here for me just to grab that whole URL, jump into the Conversations panel, and let my teammates know that we want to start. From there, I can take a look at the backlog and see what it is that we need to estimate while my teammates get logged into the system. In this backlog panel, we can see a section down at the bottom that shows a new set of stories that our product owner has added and wants to get estimates for. So here I can just grab the first of those items, drag it over to the game panel, and drop it there to get things teed up for the game. Now we can see that there are two separate views going on. Over on the left side of the screen is the facilitator's view within the team room. On the right side is a participant's view who has gone to estimably.com to log into this particular game. So Andre arrives, puts his name in there, enters the correct game ID, and when he joins that game, you can see on the facilitator view that he can keep track of all the new participants as they're coming in. Now, Andre is able to know that he's logged into the game correctly and is waiting for the round to begin, for that estimation to begin. Since the facilitator has already started and selected that first item, he can go ahead and begin that round so that everybody is able to see what that first story is that we're going to vote on. At this point, the product owner is probably going to step in, whether that's the facilitator or somebody else who's just joining the session, and talk about the details of the story. What does this really mean? What are the acceptance criteria? Make sure that everybody has a good understanding of what it is that we are estimating currently. And as the individuals log their votes, again, both the facilitator is able to see the progress there, and all of the participants are able to see just how many votes have been logged. The facilitator gives enough time for everybody to log their vote. And when they end the round, you can see what the totals are and what that summary is of the voting results. In this case, everybody's provided the same estimate. That's very easy. Great. We all think the same thing. It's time to just save that back to this work item and then move on. So now I'm able to drag the next item into the list. And so the facilitator pulls that in and again begins a round, in which case everybody goes ahead and logs their votes on this next item. So Andre can log his, other team members can log their own individual votes as well. And then when the facilitator sees that everybody's voted, they can end that round. And now we can see that one of these items has gotten 3 votes. 2 people have voted for another value. And so at this point, the team can get together and discuss, why did you think it was this big? Why did you think it was that small? Are there other factors that we didn't consider? And so the collaboration can happen and everybody can have a fruitful discussion and really bring forth their perspectives. Now both the facilitator and all of the participants can see who's voted for what. So if there are specific questions that you want to ask of a team member who may know a little bit more or may be ignorant of some part of the story or some part of the technology that needs to come into play, that discussion can happen. And at this point, they can choose to just select a vote. If everybody says, you know what, Andre, Boris, Tammy, you guys are right. Alfred and Danny are going to change their vote to be along with you. We can just go ahead and submit that one. If Alfred and Danny really provided compelling arguments and got the others to change their mind, facilitator could just select that other vote and submit that as the estimate. Or we could rerun the vote and just have everybody try again and see what's going to happen next time. So depending on the amount of discussion, depending on the amount of disagreement or general agreement, the facilitator is the one really in control to decide what we're going to do to be able to get to that consensus. So if we rerun that vote, everybody's feeling good about that vote, we can go ahead and submit that work item and move on from there. As the team works its way through the list of estimates, the facilitator can easily track the progress through the backlog panel. I can see all of the estimates that have been logged so far for those stories that we've been working through. And as we go through additional stories here and I save those, it immediately shows up so I can keep track of our progress. Estimably works equally well for stories or test sets or defects if we choose to estimate those. The mechanics work the same way regardless of this backlog item that I choose to estimate here. So as we work through this, we can see how Estimably really helps the teams conduct fun, efficient estimation sessions, whether they're all in the same room or spread across the globe. This video is now complete. Thank you for your time.